So today we're doing a little bit more with estimating square roots, except it's going to get slightly more complicated. And what I would suggest first is making this number line. Now, I know normally we go to 20, but just for the sake of time and I ran out of room on my paper, I stopped at 16. But if you'll pause your video in just a second, make yourself a number line. At the bottom, we're doing 1 to 16. And then across the top, we're doing those perfect squares. So basically, like the square root of 25 is 5. The square root of 121 is 11, and so forth. So you want to pause now and in your notebook, title your notes, Estimating Square Roots, and make your number line. So first we're going to look at a basic estimating the square root of 75. 75 is not a perfect square, but it is between two other perfect squares. 75 would be about here, between 64 and 81. So it would be between 8 and 9. So between 8 and 9. Now, which one is it closer to? 64 and 81, and we got 75. Little closer to 9. So I'm going to, if I had to guess, I'm going to say about an 8.7 or an 8.8, but that's just a guess. But basically, it's between 8 and 9. So then here, it's a little complicated. So I'm going to read this a few times until you see what we're looking for. So we're trying to find the distance between. So we're going to find 2 points up here on this number line and find the distance between those 2 points. So let's look at the first part. We're going to look for the integer that is less than the square root of 10. Again, we're looking for the square root of 10, and we're going to find the integer less than that. So if we go up here, the square root of 10 would be somewhere in here, between 9 and 16. So we are somewhere in between 3 and 4 would be the answer. Now, which one of those numbers, 3 or 4, is the one less than the square root of 10? If it's somewhere about here. And that would be 3. So that's the first point that we're doing. Then the second point, so this is point number 1. The second point is the integer greater than the square root of 130. So where would 130 be? Because it's not a perfect square. It's going to be somewhere through here. No, sorry. Somewhere around here. Between 121 and 144, we would have the square root of 130. That's between 11 and 12, somewhere. So which of those integers is greater than where that is? The greater one is your 12. So now we're trying to find the distance between 3 and 12. So we're going to count from 3. And you don't start until after you move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Your answer would be 9. Now, I know this sounded complicated. What is the distance between the integer less than the square root of 10 and the integer greater than the square root of 130? If you read it that way in the long sentence, it seems complicated. But if you pick it apart, one sentence at a time, I hope you will agree that once you find these and outline it on this number line, you'll see that it's not as complicated as it sounds. So don't just take these at face value when you're doing them. Actually draw out the number line, figure out where it would be on the number line, and then look at, are we looking at the number, the lesser one or the greater one? And then you just count spaces in between.